The Philippine Navy confirms Japan's possible transfer of used Navy destroyers to the country. According to Japanese media, 6 warships equipped with anti-ship missiles and torpedoes will be exported to Manila.
Picture this. You wake up, scroll through the headlines, and bam! Japan just dropped 6 warships into the lap of the Philippines. 6. Not fishing boats, not cargo ferries, actual naval destroyer escorts. Yeah, that's the kind of Monday morning news that makes your coffee taste like jet fuel. But here's the kicker. This isn't some garage sale handoff where Tokyo says, "Hey Manila, take our old junk and good luck." Nope. These are Abukuma-class destroyer escorts. Sleek, purpose-built war machines designed to sniff out submarines, swat away aerial threats, and basically scream, "Don't even think about it, Beijing." And the timing? Chef's kiss. Right as tensions in the West Philippine Sea are heating up like a summer barbecue. You can almost hear China choking on its green tea. Now, why should you care? Because this is not just hardware. It's geopolitics on steroids. Japan doesn't just hand out warships like free samples at Costco. This is a high-stakes chess move in the Indo-Pacific game board, and the Philippines just got promoted from pawn to rook with an attitude. But hold that thought. Before we start popping champagne on deck, there's a twist. Reports say some of the ships will arrive missing certain toys. No harpoon missiles. No phalanx close-in weapons. Unless Uncle Sam nods yes. It's like buying a sports car and finding out the turbocharger's been taken out. Still fast, still sleek, but not quite the fire-breathing monster you imagined. So here's the million-dollar question. Is Japan really boosting Philippine naval power? Or is this a polite but pointed message to Beijing wrapped in steel hulls? And that, my friends, is where the real fun begins. Because in this video, we're breaking it all down. What these ships can actually do, what Japan's really signaling, how China's likely to respond, and most importantly, what this means for the future of the Philippine Navy. Ready? Strap in. Because the story of 6 Japanese warships might just be the opening scene of a much bigger Indo-Pacific thriller. Think of it this way. Japan's not just handing over keys to 6 warships. They're handing over a playbook, a message, and maybe even a glimpse of tomorrow's alliances. All right, let's zoom out. Why would Japan, famously cautious when it comes to exporting military gear, suddenly hand over 6 submarine hunting destroyers to the Philippines? This isn't Tokyo flipping through old receipts and going, "Hey, these ships are cluttering the garage, let's donate them." Nope. This is strategic timing with capital letters. See, Japan lives under one of the strictest sets of rules on arms exports in the world. Ever since World War II, their constitution and defense laws kept them on a tight leash. The unwritten rule: keep your gear at home, avoid playing arms dealer, and for the love of God, don't stir the regional pot. But here's the plot twist. Those rules come with an asterisk. When national security and strategic interests are at stake, exceptions can be made. And guess what? Right now, both boxes are checked. China's been flexing hard in the South China Sea, swarming shoals, harassing resupply missions, and basically turning contested waters into its personal swimming pool. Japan, meanwhile, has its own drama with Beijing in the East China Sea, around the Senkaku Islands. So when Manila feels the squeeze, Tokyo feels the echo. 2 fronts, 1 problem: China's expanding shadow. So this transfer, it's not charity. It's alliance building with a side of deterrence. Japan's basically saying, "Philippines, you're on the front line. We've got your back." Oh, and by the way, China, we're watching you too. Now here's the spicy part. This is the largest transfer of combat-ready Japanese ships to any foreign nation in modern history. That's not a headline you bury on page 7. That's a neon billboard screaming, "Japan is done being shy." But hold on, there's also nuance. Some of these warships will show up missing their heaviest punch. No Harpoon missiles unless Washington signs off. No cutting-edge phalanx CIWS without the right clearance. Why? Because this isn't just about hardware. It's about politics, optics, and keeping things one notch below full-on escalation. So are these ships a gift, a warning, or both? The answer is yes. They're a toolkit for the Philippines and a signal to Beijing that Tokyo isn't playing defense anymore. It's moving pieces forward on the board. But here's where it gets even juicier. What do these warships actually bring to the table, even without all their fancy missiles? Spoiler: a lot more than you think. All right, let's pop the hood on these bad boys. What exactly are the Abukuma-class destroyer escorts bringing to the Philippine Navy's table? Because, spoiler alert, even without their top-shelf missiles, these ships aren't just floating lawn ornaments. First off, think of them as Swiss Army knives for the sea. They were designed back in the late 80s and early 90s, but don't let the birth date fool you. These ships are still workhorses. Each one comes with a 76mm Ottomalara naval gun, which the Philippine Navy already knows how to handle. Translation: no steep learning curve, just more firepower ready to go. Then there's the anti-submarine arsenal. These ships are kitted out with ASROC launchers for anti-submarine rockets, torpedo tubes, and hull-mounted sonar. Basically, if a Chinese submarine decides to play hide-and-seek in Philippine waters, the Abakumas are like, "Tag, you're it." And don't forget the radar and search systems. Sure, they're not the bleeding edge anymore, but they're reliable, proven, and fully upgradable. That's the key here. These ships are platforms. Think of them as solid, battle-tested frames the Philippines can customize and modernize over time. Now, here's a little gem under the deck. The propulsion system. These ships run on a combo of diesel and gas turbines, including Rolls-Royce engines built under license by Kawasaki. Translation? They've got speed, efficiency, and the kind of engineering pedigree that makes gearheads grin. For the Philippine Navy, this is like going from driving a beat-up sedan to handling a turbocharged sports car. It's a learning curve, but one worth climbing. So let's add this up. 6 ships, each capable of hunting subs, guarding the skies, patrolling contested waters, and forming the backbone of a fleet that desperately needs depth. Sure, they're not brand new. Sure, the heaviest missiles are stripped. But with upgrades, radar, sonar, maybe even new anti-ship weapons down the line, these Abukumas could become the Navy's MVPs. But here's the real kicker. It's not just about the ships. This transfer signals a whole new era of defense ties between Japan and the Philippines, with ripple effects across the entire Indo-Pacific. So, 6 ships. On paper, it sounds simple. Japan hands them over, the Philippines sails them out. End of story. But in reality, this is a tectonic shift in the Indo-Pacific. Let's start with the Philippines. For decades, the Navy's been punching below its weight. Old ships, limited firepower, and a reputation for being more Coast Guard light than Blue Water Force. These Abukuma-class destroyers change that. Suddenly, Manila has 6 more hulls in the water, each with teeth, each with potential, and each sending the message, we're not spectators anymore. Then there's Japan. By greenlighting this deal, Tokyo isn't just exporting warships, it's exporting influence. It's stepping into a bigger, bolder security role in Southeast Asia, something unthinkable just a generation ago. For a country that once swore off military projection, this is like stepping out of the shadows with a megaphone. And of course, the elephant, or rather, the dragon in the room. China. You can bet every sonar ping and radar sweep from these ships will be watched, logged, and analyzed in Beijing. To China, this isn't 6 ships, it's 6 flashing warning signs that alliances in the region are hardening against its maritime ambitions. Expect pushback. Expect more patrols, more standoffs, more saber rattling. Because the South China Sea just got a lot more crowded. But here's the part that matters most. This isn't just about hardware, it's about momentum. If the Philippines upgrades these ships, integrates them with US, Japanese, and even Australian forces, and invests in training and doctrine, then this becomes more than a transfer. It becomes transformation. And if not, well, 6 ships tied to the pier don't scare anyone. The difference between game changer and wasted opportunity comes down to leadership, funding, and vision. So the big question is, what kind of navy does the Philippines want to build? A reactive coast guard or a forward-leaning maritime power that shapes the rules of the region? Because one thing's for sure, when the first Abu Kuma arrives in Manila, the status quo sails out the window. The region is watching. China is watching. And history is taking notes. Now I'll throw it to you. What do you think? Should the Philippines load these ships up with new missiles, double down on anti-submarine warfare, or focus on training first? Drop your take in the comments below. I want to hear how you'd shape the Navy's future. And if you want to keep riding shotgun on stories that go deeper than the headlines, make sure you like this video, smash that subscribe button, and ring the bell. Because trust me, the Indo-Pacific thriller, it's only getting started.